All right, we're set. Finally,
All right.
Appreciate your time. So, where did you grow up?
I was born in Birmingham, England.
Really?
Yeah. Lived in Birmingham till I was around 11, and then moved to a town just outside the city called Tamworth. And I lived there till I was like 28. Well, the last year or two, I was everywhere. You know, I ended up in Wales, and then I ended up in America. But yeah, my journey started in Birmingham, and yeah, then went to a town called Tamworth, Wales, then America. That was the route to get here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, have you been here then since that whole time? Then have you ever?
I moved here in 2000, and yeah, I've pretty much been here the whole time. Yeah, I went back visiting, but that's it. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a reason that, for the destination?
Well, when I came over, I came over on vacation in 1999 and met a woman I ended up marrying, and we had 3 kids. So I got 3 girls. So we were married for 11 years. We got divorced in 2011, and you know, I just couldn't imagine leaving my kids. So, you know, plus I had the shop. You know, I was taking care of my kids, so I just stayed here and carried on this mad journey.
Wow, that's wow.
Yeah, it was pretty mad.
So, and how was your childhood?
Oh, it was good. It was good. Just a working class upbringing. Yeah, not much money. Just, you know, just into music and hanging out with your mates. You know what I mean? Yeah, getting into trouble.
I think that kind of leads to my next question. Was when did your love for music start?
I can remember drawing pictures of like Adam and the Ants, like when I was I was born in '72, so I just remember all the early new wave and just really being fascinated by it all and that. I grew up in quite a strict religious house actually, so I wasn't allowed a lot of music. So it was a lot of stuff I heard outside of people's houses and stuff like that, you know. And yeah, that's usually how I ended up finding out about new music. But yeah, just fascinated by that. And then when I was a teenager, in my later teens, me and my brother, my younger brother, we started like a garage blues band. And we were like, yeah, there's actually a picture of us on the wall up there. But you see where it says, it's big.
Really?
Yeah, that's me. I'm in like right of centre. So,
okay.
Yeah, there's my brother on the left standing up. Yeah, that's our band. We were around for a while, and you know, we were just more of a big local, you know, known local band, I should say, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun, you know. But and then when I came to America, when I was doing that, I used to sell records and CDs and trade stuff and things like that. But it was more just to make some money for a beer and some weed the weekend, you know what I mean? Get stoned out and get pissed. So so that's really, I only did it on a small scale. Just, you know, never thought nothing of it really. It's just something that always just seemed to know what I was doing with that stuff, you know. I used to do flea markets and yard sale. What do we even call them over here? But anyway, yeah, that type of stuff. And then when I came over here, I moved here in January 2000 and started doing the record show, the Lancaster Record Show.
Okay.
Almost, I don't know, it was the first or second month I was in the States. I was checking out the record shows, and I was like, and I started buying more to collect then. You know, I was married and that. I wasn't going out doing so I was buying more to collect. And then I started selling so I could collect more, to make money to collect more, you know. And, you know, it's just something that really came natural to me because I'd done it forever, you know, since I was a little kid. I think the first thing I ever traded was like 1982, and I swapped a Star Wars Millennium Falcon for a bunch of, I did a deal with a kid down the street, and it was crazy. And I always remember it because the next day his mum came back with him and made him swap the thing back. She wanted the Millennium Falcon, and I was gutted. so I just started doing the record shows. I was in construction when I came over here.
Okay.
I was actually working for like the government doing asbestos removal and lead removal.
Wow.
I was in the suits, all the supply, like the mad light things you see on TV. Yeah. But the money was really good. But the work was absolute shit. But I was doing the record shows and I just had so much fun doing it. And then in beginning of 2006, there was a shop across the street. Someone had moved out and they were actually planning on knocking the building down. So the rent was like ridiculously cheap. It was like $300 a month, right? But you only had it for like 7-8 months. And I was like, well, the construction thing was a lot of work. So what I ended up doing, I was paying almost $300 a month in storage fees just for all my records and everything. So I moved everything out of storage, put them into this shop down the road, and just opened on the Saturday. I actually planned on doing construction in the week still to pay the bills and still doing it more of a hobby, kind of see how it works out.
Sure.
And I pretty much opened the doors that I've never closed. Opened the doors that Saturday and I've literally never closed. I've never done another day's construction. Never done. This is it.
So that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, that's how the shop started. Yeah. So
you kind of took a question away from me.
Oh, yeah.
At some point. Wow, that's. So it was, just to reiterate, it was this building, wasn't another one?
No, actually, in town here, this is my third location just in the street.
Oh, okay.
The very first building isn't even, the very first place I was located was across the traffic lights, just right across the traffic lights on the left. The building's not there now, they locked it down and made a car park.
Oh, okay.
That's why I got the rent cheap.
Okay.
And when I moved from there, I moved to where the vape shop is, cigarette shop is across the street now.
Right.
Just down there. That was mine for like 9 years. I was there in that spot there. And then I moved here and been here almost 9 years. So, this is just gradually grown and grown and grown. And I'm not planning on going anywhere, I'm settled here. I couldn't imagine redoing all this stuff again, to be honest. It'd be.
I was thinking that as you were kind of talking about being here for 9 years.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm happy to be here for however long I'm in business for.
Sure.
If it's the next 15 years or whatever. As long as I think being in the same spot really helps in business like that.
Sure. Yeah. People get to know where your location and.
Right, and there's a lot going on in Redline as well. I can really see Redline in 5-10 years being having a total makeover, with everything that's already happened in the last couple of years. So I'm hoping the store will be a part of everything.
Oh my gosh, it's a staple. Especially the outside of your shop.
I know. Well, I'm really big on like visual stuff,
Sure.
And I'm creating a vibe. I've been in some stores with some great records, man, but they're dull. You know what I mean? They ain't got much else going on.
Right.
A couple of posters. You know what I mean? I've never been into a store where there's actual like walls of real legit memorabilia. I mean, I've been collecting this stuff since 2000. I literally moved to America. I live from week to week in England, and I borrowed the money to get my ticket. I was engaged, and my fiance was actually over here, and I was in England because I was doing all the immigration stuff, and it took months. And I moved over here in the end. We just changed the clothes. My first month's rent. I literally didn't have a single record. I sold every single thing I owned. I didn't own anything. Clothes and my rent. And so everything I've got is from 2000 onwards. There's not a single thing that I had before that. And each one's got its own little journey, own little story. Especially the really rare memorabilia I've got in here. There's usually a pretty cool story behind it, and I've sold some stuff along the way as well. I wish I'd never sold. I never thought about doing this. I was just buying.
Well, you never think about that.
I was right. My original idea was in 2018. I was actually going to open a. I took the name and everything, copyrighted it and everything. It was Tom's Music and Coffee Shop. I was going Tom's Music. I can't remember the actual exact words are now, but it was a coffee shop thing, and I actually was going to open a coffee shop in York and put all my memorabilia on the walls. and that was going to be the coffee shop. You know, you'd go in, it'd be like a rock and roll hall of fame. And Rob Burritos, I'm friends with him. I was actually, I had a deal with it. I was going to like do a trade with him through his coffee shop that he used to have in the donut shop in York that had to close down.
Okay.
Yeah. And he had some really nice equipment, and we were in talks to like do that. And then, well, I know this was 2019, and then like the pandemic hit, and I'm glad I never did it, because if I'd have pulled the trigger, it would have been rough to invest all that money in.
No, that you know, with just giving thought to and appreciation to your local business and it being yours, you know, it kind of leads to the question that other one I had was, has there been any particular difficult times having your own business, and you know, especially again through COVID, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Really, how did you handle it? Like, what was like some of like the hardest? I guess maybe
it was the not knowing what was going to happen. You know, if it was going to be a long-term thing. I was closed for 3 months solid, and then when I opened, it was a real like soft opening. I could only have like so many people in, and felt like it went on for years. I mean, the one thing that did help is, even though you wasn't allowed to have so many people, and people are a lot more eager to buy records again. The whole pandemic thing kicked off. It seems like collecting in general, people collect. The baseball card market's gone through the roof. You know, other collectible markets and records as well with that become really popular again. So it did good, and I've come out of it. I've actually come out of it more motivated than ever. That's one of the reasons why I did this. You know, because I couldn't do the coffee shop, and I'd already started with this in mind, buying rare memorabilia. And I was still buying it even through the pandemic and that. And was actually a wall here for like the last eight and a half years. And this was just boxes of records and stuff in here.
Okay.
And then I was like, well, I just woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, I'm going to take that wall down and pull that shit in storage. And I swear to God, the next day I woke up and did exactly that. It took me months to do it. I've had a storage unit 10 by 20 full that I'm trying to figure out what to do with at the moment, with all the stuff that was in here.
Right.
But I honestly, the next day I got up, I started, I took the cassettes off the wall, and everything I thought of just happened, man. And then started buying more, really, really trying to search out like rarer collectibles, you know, trying to just get proper museum pieces rather than just some signed pieces. Like a lot of people have signed stuff, right? You know, things like that, and they're cool and that. But to have like genuine stuff, like the Hailstorm stuff, for instance, that stuff, unless you've seen them and bought them off them when they were kids before they got famous,
right? You
never see this. Some of this stuff's never ever been on Discogs. It's never been sold on Discogs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is all stuff like local. You know, I mean, there's a couple of CDs. That one right there, I paid $3.50 for. That other one, I paid $4.50 for. I mean, they were as rare as shit, and I paid that because there was no other ones to choose from, and I needed them for the museum, so I bought them. You know, I mean, I do what I have to do to like. I needed everything original, everything they put out before they got signed. I have on the wall, so. But yeah, I mean, I really got into it deep, and then like I wanted to represent the whole hair scene from. Like York, Swizzles, Hammerjacks, Baltimore, you know, that whole scene. Because I have some of the old heads coming here still, you know, the old guys that used to be in the band. So that's what started the whole, like, Child's Play, Kicks, all the 80s, all the hair metal type memorabilia. And then I started buying off Steve, the singer, and started buying handwritten lyrics. And then I bought, like, stuff from the original promoters collection that used to room with them, and like, I mean, really, really cool stuff. And then I don't even know how I ended up talking to the guy that was selling the collection for the Thin Lizzy drummer, and I ended up buying like Phil's tie and that stage outfit there. I mean. It's just crazy, you know. I mean, the stuff, when people heard that I was doing this legit, it's kind of opened up these doors now to like to get some truly like, you know, I mean, I've paid thousands of dollars for this stuff as well, and people aren't giving it to you, but because I'm buying it now, and I plan on selling it eventually. You know, this is more my retirement than like putting money in the bank. You know, 20 years, 15 years, whenever But I'm trying to. I mean, I'd love to. If I retire in like 15 years, what I'll buy over the next 15 years, I'd love it to actually be a museum that would probably like continue or something, or someone else could take over or something like that. You know,
Right.
Because I think in another 15 years, the rate I'm going, the amount I'm buying. I mean, I buy stuff every day of the week. Like I buy probably 5 to 10 autographed pieces a week from people. I mean,
Really?
I've got thousands in my collection now. That's like it's mad. I mean, they're not all good as well. It's not like they're all like valuable stuff. It's just weird shit. I've even got signed country albums I don't even collect, but I just because it's autographed. I just
Right. No, it's the one thing I think is really neat about your museum here is the diversity that it has. It's not just
I try to do that as
you
well.
have rap albums, you have rock albums, you have.
Well, it's called the Homegrown Museum. Like for the local, it's the main thing is to have the local artists. Like also represent live, which were one of the biggest bands to come out of Europe, PA. But I've got their early stuff when they were Public Affection before they were live, which is you never see
I didn't
that
know
shit.
that they were actually called something else.
Yeah, I got their cassettes there.
Oh.
Again, their cassettes are. I've seen 2 and I bought both of them.
I see the.
That's before they were live, and they went on to their fame through that band. And that's, I mean, everything's original as well. I mean, I've legit hunted down, put advertisements out to just find certain pieces. I put advertisements out just to find certain pieces so I could fill that little gap on the, that I needed. But I've tried to represent everything. The main thing is like really showcasing the local artists. Like down there as well, there's a lot of bands from like the 90s that play Chameleon Club and Harrisburg Flyers, Baltimore, things like that. But then I do have bigger ones that I think people are interested in. Like there's a whole grunge scene here. This is all original stuff behind there. The 80s stuff. The Beatles collection. I mean, nearly everybody's interested in the Beatles. I got a super rare Twisted Sister collection from one of the early drummers. It was his scrapbook. I mean, there's some unique pieces there. And actually, Twisted Sister website just shared my shop the other day.
Really?
On their page. Yeah, 2 days ago. Yeah.
That is awesome.
They shared it on their main page. That Miles Davis collection. It's a signed twice by Miles Davis filled in boarding pass. The guy's dad was his personal technician for the last tour that he was on.
Okay.
And he kept all his memorabilia. There's his original custom jacket there. And I mean, stuff like that you never see. Private for personal photos of Miles Davis that no one's seen, that he took on the plane, and passes, contracts. I've even got an invite to his very last birthday party. He died 2 months later. And
was that the one on here on the wall here?
Yeah, that one there. That's an original invite to his birthday party. And on the back, it's got a song sheet that's got the music to Happy Birthday to Miles.
Really?
Yeah. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. It's kind of leaves you speechless.
I still find it fun. I get excited talking about it, and I just love finding the stuff, man, and seeing other people get excited about it as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can definitely tell, like, you kind of enter your pure self when you're like you're talking about your items, and you're just kind of it's just endless history. It
really is, man. I mean, it's stuff that, I mean, and because I go crazy about stuff once I'm into it. Like once I'm into records, I mean, all I've done since I really opened the shop and really like, okay, this is going to be what I do, after the construction. That, I mean, there's been days I've left the house 6 o'clock in the morning, got back here not to look at a collection, got back here minutes to spare, 10 o'clock open, then leave on the evening and drive like 4 hours to look at a collection as I go off work. And I've done that for like weeks straight. There used to be there's a lot more competition with people looking for records now. But back in the day, in the early 2000s, I would literally, I'd get so many calls for records. I wish I'd gone and seen them all now. I would only prioritize, if they didn't have like 500 plus records, I wouldn't even look at a collection with 200-300. I mean, I had that, but no one else was looking at records. Or once the iPods come out, everyone was like, my ex-wife was like, what are you doing? Technology, like records, you know, I mean, you're crazy. And there was a few lulls over the years, but I'm definitely glad I stuck with it, you know, and now opening this has just added a lot, just a new excitement to me looking for stuff. Now, not only do I look for records now, but I'm also trying to find memorabilia when I'm there, and you know, hear cool stories and stuff. So
definitely added some depth for you.
Oh, for sure, and with the live music and that in there, but I'm really going to push that as well this year. Yeah, it's took it to a new level. I'm actually glad I waited years. If I'd have done this right away, I would have had nowhere to go with it. This whole thing, and actually dedicating it just to memorabilia, you know, has been the best thing I did for the shop. You know, the shop was already doing great as well. You know, already a lot of people knew the shop, but this has really took it onto put it on the next level for sure.
Yeah, that and that back here is also where you have like the live.
Yeah, this is where I have the live music. I just push all this stuff back, and you know, and it sounds great in here. I have to do like semi-acoustic because there's like a residential apartment above here. I'm trying to be respectful for them, you know what I mean? But they're pretty cool as well. They've never said anything, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been and all the recognition as well. I never realised how many people would find it cool.
Just appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I opened in October, this part, and
this past October.
Yeah, I only opened this October. I can't remember the exact day, but it was October. Before then, there was a wall here, and that was the shop. But the amount of recognition I've got from like magazines, like don't even know how many TV stations and little spots now and stuff like that. I got somebody in to do a story on the Beatles stuff. They've seen it. Okay. I want to do a web story on that. What else happened? All kinds. So much. Oh yeah, I won the Record Store of the Year, the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame. I won the Record Store of the Year.
Wow.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was. I went to the award ceremony, forgot my wallet in the car, and they locked me out. Wouldn't let me back in. Couldn't get me.
Are you serious?
Yeah. They're like, no, you can let back in. So I was like, dude, I fucking won an award. Let me give them an award. Like, no. It's like this little young kid, like 16, 17. He goes, no, I can't. It's worth more than my job. I'm like, dude, I just bought a ticket. You just seen I came in, forgot my wallet, went to the car, come straight back. I'm getting an award. And he goes, no, you can't come in. I'm like, you are joking. So I drove home.
You didn't get the award?
They had to mail it to me.
Oh my God.
I'm not joking. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. It was ridiculous because I paid $40 for the ticket as well.
Oh. Wow.
But anyway, it's another part of the story, man. Part of the journey, you know.
Oh yeah. Very true. So, and so I had. Let's see here. Okay, so have there been any records particularly difficult to part with? You kind of already discussed this, but anything that stands out?
I sold some Beatles stuff that I wish I kept on, some promo stuff that I wish I kept hold of, and a bunch of jazz stuff back in the day. These days, not really. I can't think of anything recently apart from a Beatles one I wish I'd kept, and some jazz pieces I wish I'd kept. But I've done pretty good, I suppose, with keeping the ones I want. You know, there's times where I want to keep everything, and then there's times where I don't really. I'm not like at the moment. I'm in one of them phases where I'll just keep a few here and there. You know,
right?
But there'll be times when like one day I'll just be like, I'll get a collection here and I want to keep a whole crate or something. You know what I mean? So yeah, my collecting goes like that, but. Yeah, I mean, for personal collecting, I'm always buying records, collections non-stop, but I've probably been keeping more of the memorabilia stuff than I have the records lately, you know. So
It's just probably your desire to build this up.
well, yeah, I think that's what it is. I'm still like, it's just still new, and I'm still like, there's still an excitement with like, and I'm always excited about finding new cool stuff. And I've already managed to upgrade stuff in here, like with rarer items already, you know. And I've got some pieces at home I'm trying to find that are pretty epic. I've got boxes and boxes of shit at home, and I've got to find them. I've got some super rare stuff. And you know, and so I'm going to find that stuff. I'm going to add more in here. So yeah, it's finding the memorabilia and still keeping the records is still a buzz, yeah, for sure.
Quite the thrill.
Quite the thrill, yeah, absolutely.
Cool. What was like the most thrilling, exciting thing that you've ever found that really kind of sticks out there?
Man. Oh, a hip hop collection I bought in 2018. Right, you can Google the guy. His name's Karaz, and he was actually a real famous graffiti artist.
Okay.
He came up with the whole Philadelphia style called Wickup, and he also was a DJ called LK Lover, ELK Lover, and he was best friends with the Roots, and he used to open a lot of, before the Roots was like they are now, like in the really early 90s. And I've got a bunch of Polaroids of the Roots, like just chilling, smoking, rolling blunts. I've got like, this guy died in 2018, right?
Okay.
And he collected rare vintage toys, and his toy collector, I bought his record collection off him not long before, like a month or so before. And when he went and bought this toy collection in Philadelphia, they offered him the records. And because I bought his record collection, paid him well, he bought them back. Told me the price. I went round his house and told me the price. And I went through the boxes, and I was like, there was 2 scrapbooks in there. I mean, hand-drawn graffiti pieces like you wouldn't believe. Like, I mean, just incredible. Signed, all old school hip hop. See there, Karaz.
At the very top there?
Yeah, there.
Okay, yeah.
All the old school hip hop ones are all from him, all the original ones. Like that Guru one, that's one of my rarest pieces, that Guru. But anyway, this hip hop collection was this guy's, and he used to DJ for the Roots. I mean, the stuff I sold, mate, actually, that's probably the biggest regret. The stuff I sold from that collection, just to get some money back, because I paid a lot of money.
Sure. And
I rushed kind of like priced some stuff just to get some money back. And I made some major errors, gave away some of the rarest Philly pieces you could think of. But when I realized what I was doing, I did manage to keep a bunch of stuff for myself. So I got some really good stuff, but I never sold a single piece of the graffiti, the memorabilia or anything. And actually when he passed away, Questlove posted on his Instagram, if you go on it, if you just type in Karaz, Questlove, Instagram, it'll show you, and he posted 3 pictures and he wrote this whole thing about him, because he was one of his best friends, you know, in Philly. He was a Philly legend, this guy was. And there's he posts this picture in there, and it's a hand-colored graffiti piece, and he's posted a picture. I've got the original at my house on my wall. You wouldn't believe this piece. The most amazing piece of hand-drawn graffiti art I've ever seen in my life, and it's famous. It's a famous piece, and I've got it in my living room. Yeah,
that's tremendous.
I'll show you the picture after. You won't believe what it's my favorite. I'm guessing that might be my favorite piece I've ever found.
Okay.
Because it's so, when you see it, it's just like, and you just look at it, and the skill, art, and like talent, and like, you know, and what he was, you know, right. How people look at him now as a Philly legend. To have that is pretty unique, you know. Yeah,
that's pretty captivating.
Yeah, it's super cool, mate. And if you love graffiti or hip hop, if you love anything to do with that, you absolutely, you cannot you can't not fall in love with this piece, man. It's that good.
That sounds really cool. And do you have a favorite artist?
Oh, well, for myself, an artist that means the most to me, I love all kinds of music, all kinds of bands, but a band that means the most is like Oasis to me.
Oasis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, when I was in a band myself
Sure.
in the early 90s, they come out in the early 90s, but they had that attitude that like everybody, it was just like, that was the vibe of Britpop in the 90s. And it's such an exciting time to be in a band, even if you're in a shit band, just to be a part of it all, music scene. Oasis just had such an energy, and they're just going down the pub watching football matches was like, what I mean? It felt like every night was a Saturday night for a while. It was a lot of fun, and then it all turned to shit. Late 90s, it got moody as fuck.
And any pieces in your collection that have like a heavier significance, whether it's the story behind it or like maybe how you obtained it? It sounds like it might be that graffiti on your wall.
Yeah, as far as like
poster?
pieces that mean the most to me,
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay.
Because like, I mean, it's such a personal thing, and like I said, you see it in like the amount of time that would have went into it, and how good you had to be, as an artist.
Right.
And not only that, it's unique. I mean, it was 1984, still like the early graffiti days, and just have an early piece like that. Yeah, and also like that, I used to do illegal graffiti when I was a kid, so I have that connection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I used to do. I did a few illegal pieces when I used to steal spray paint from a place called Halfords, which was a car shop. Me and my brother, my mates, and we'd go like just stupid stuff when you're kids, But yeah. So, but I always loved like all that stuff.
See, it kind of is like that childhood connection for you a little bit too.
Yeah. Well, there was a book come out called Subway Art at W.H. Smith's, and it was a book on. I can't remember what year it was, but it was early 80s or mid 80s. But it was a book on subway graffiti. That's all it was. I actually got the book at my house now. I bought it again a couple of years ago. It's crazy. And I was fascinated by it. So I just tried to copy some of the stuff on there, do my own thing. And that. But it's what got me into like my main passion for collecting, believe it or not, is the hip hop stuff.
Okay.
I love collecting like rare hip hop more than anything. This like that, the hair stuff's great, and I love it all because I know some of the people on the wall. But I get a buzz from them seeing that. But it's not my thing. Hair metal, Love Hailstorm, great band live. I don't know so much about live. I do love Hailstorm. I don't know much about live, to be honest. But I want to represent them because they're a big local band, and a lot of people do know a lot about them and love them. But I've just always had and the grunge stuff's great. I love it all, to be honest. But the hip hop, I just really love that stuff, man. I mean, I've got so much more at home, and if you've seen these books as well with like all the like sketch pieces they were going to do on trains and on walls and that, it's just you look through it and you feel like you're going back in time. You feel like you're watching a documentary or something. And I just love stuff like that.
It's that history.
Yeah. Well, I also bought some of the Kool Herc, which was meant to be the OG of hip hop, started hip hop. He sold his stuff at Christie's 2 years ago, and man, I paid $2,000 for a Polaroid, another few $1,000s for like 7 flyers, because they're all from his personal collection.
Sure.
Christie's is no joke, man. They have some great stuff, but they're expensive. But I've really only done that for hip hop stuff. Really just to try to, get major pieces like that. I can't afford. There was a Queen auction with some of Freddie Mercury stuff not long ago, and the stuff was just. I wanted to get something for the shop, but it was just.
I can only imagine.
I mean, and the auctions hadn't even finished, and they were just so outrageous. I was like, man, so because Kool Herc's turntable sold for $120,000, so I was lucky to even get a Polaroid and a couple of flyers. You know what I mean? Sure. So, but it was nice to have something with documentation and all that, and anybody in hip hop knows him as the OG. So
that's tremendous.
Yeah, man.
Is there any any one of your like most memorable experiences that you've had over the years, as far as whether it's maybe shopping or with the music, or do you think like kind of already covered that with something that you've already mentioned as far as like, for example, how you obtained even like some of the hip hop items? But is there any like really memorable experience, whether it's like meeting an artist?
I met the guy from the Rika Theatre. He was super cool. He had some great stories, and he was a manager. I've got they're reopened now, but they closed down.
Okay.
2014, I think it was. I got the T-shirt hung up here for the closing, and that's reopened. But he was the manager up until they closed down, and he had some really neat stuff, neat stories. He was just a cool dude, you know. And that was records and memorabilia. Another lady, Nikki, as far as memorabilia goes, Nikki, she was actually president of the Teen Club Millennium right there. And she had like all the local bands and that. She was the one that, I mean, I got that Hailstorm. That's one of my favorite Hailstorm pieces, and that's from Nikki. And that's not long before they got signed right there.
You're talking about the Teen Club.
Yeah, and that's the original drumstick, and there's the flyer as well. Nikki was really cool. She hooked me up with some stuff I really needed to you know, to get my Hailstorm thing complete, you know. But one of the biggest contributors, I guess, to like, especially with the 80s stuff, was Larry Hinshaw. He's the original singer from Child's Play, like the 80s band.
Okay.
They used to play with Kicks all the time, good friends. And they just played the M3 the weekend, and you know, they're still out there gigging, like not as much, but like they do some bigger gigs. But he'd archived everything from when he started the band, and man, he really is. His collection I got from him is like really what holds that wall together. I mean, his stuff was so good. I mean, like the T-shirts at the top, those T-shirts at the top, man, I wouldn't even be surprised if there's less than like 5-10 of those that exist. And that Child's Play one at the end, that's the prototype. That never even come out. That ROT one right there, that's not from him, but that's from another collection. And the crazy thing is that ROT was a band that lived on, one of the guys lived on Philadelphia Street in York.
Okay.
And then moved to LA to be the guitar player for Blind Melon.
Really?
No, yeah. He lived in York, and then I actually messaged him and sent him. He's the guitar player for Afghan Wigs now, and I messaged him, and he was like, "What the fuck?" He goes, "Yeah." So he says he's going to try and get down here to see this stuff because he hasn't seen it since back in the day.
That's awesome.
But that's pretty cool. Yeah. So there's cool things like that, you know. I mean, you know, you don't expect to get responses from people. I send people pictures that have, you know, that if I find something rare or unique,
Sure.
you know, I send them some pictures, and some people respond, some people don't.
Just a few more questions here I have for you was like, what's the best part of what you do?
Best part about what I do, I love meeting people and finding stuff, you know, interesting stories. I think just the whole thing. I mean, I did construction for years, so everything's better than construction, you know. But I don't know. I just have a real passion for music and for this stuff. And you know, I think if as long as I've got the passion, I'll be doing this. You know what I mean? There was a moment a few years ago. I was like, I'm going to just sell everything and become get my real estate license or something. I was like, you know what I mean? Sometimes you're just like, oh, do I really want to do this for another 20 years? But those moments don't last long, you know. I love it. The only downside is you feel like you're tied to it, and because people are so used to me being here 6 days a week, you take a day off for anything, or you know, as far as I can reach everyone on social media, there's always somebody that turns up that drove from out of town and like, dude, I'm so sorry I couldn't reach you, you know, and but that's the only downside, man. I absolutely love it. I love it.
You'd say you're pretty much living your dream.
I'd say so, man. I mean, I really, I don't know what else I'd love more than doing this. You know, I really don't. I get excited going on house calls, looking at collections. Yeah, like I said, as long as I still have that passion and enthusiasm,
Sure.
you know, if I wake up one day and I'm like, man, I'm done. You know what I mean? There's a few people in the last couple of years actually have just, they got 20, 30 years in and they're like, I'm doing something else. I'm just going to retire or something, you know?
Right.
So I'm sure that will come eventually. But yeah, I've still got goals, you know. I really want to push and get, I want everything in here to be museum quality. You know what I mean? I want to be constantly upgrading and finding stuff that people will travel and see because it's so unique. You know, that's what I want to do. I just want to keep building this, and finding rare collections for everybody, rare record collections and CD collections and that as well. You know, we buying a lot of CDs, but yeah. As long as I'm healthy and I can get out and do
Sure.
this shit, yeah. So
it's pretty speechless to come back here and just see everything, and I love the depth of, again, your store, which there's so much to look at just on that part of it, but coming back here, it just has so much depth to it. It's really really nice.
it really is. It's been a really. I knew I was going to enjoy it anyway, but it's blown my mind how excited everybody else has been for it.
Sure.
You know, I didn't realize how much people would really think it's cool. You know, this stuff. You know, I thought it was just me being a total nerd a lot of the time. You know, because I go over the top. I see something sometimes, and like, I mean, I've bought stuff sometimes. And it's totally like I got to have it, and then like I pay like crazy money over the top and stuff for it. But you know, I get excited, but yeah, I definitely, yeah, I think the passion just passes on to people, you know, when you're really into anything, you know, people feed off that. So
yeah. And what would you say the last thing I ask is what do you think is something that's in store for you, for any goals of yours for this year?
This year, my next goal actually is, I've been having live music in here. My next goal is to, when the bands are in here, have it set up so I can record something. It doesn't have to be crazy. It can be like a live recording, but to actually put out a quarterly 45 with just a couple of like recordings, like of people that have played in the shop, the recordings from actually in the shop, and have like a split 45, like,
Sure.
And just have like volume 1, volume 2, and do like that. And that's my goal for this year. That's one of them.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Knowing it was recorded in here and like, you know.
Yeah, and I think that'll be
a rock and roll museum.
Well, I'll be able to sell it in the shop. The people that play in the shop, I'll have an audience to sell it as well. You know, local people love locals. You know, that are supporting the local. A lot of people know the bands that are playing in here. You know, they're in other bands, and I just think it'd be a cool thing to do, man. I mean, and like I said, I'm always trying to like next level. You know, and I'm sure once I start doing that, I'll probably have some other crazy idea for something. You know what I mean? And I'll be like, yeah, you know, it's just the way I am. Yeah, that's my next goal for this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you, mate. Yeah, definitely.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely, mate.